Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I love to see you in the pink blazer. You came
Thank
through
you
today.
so much. Thank you so much. It's a joy to be here.
Well, this is something that I think a lot of folks may not have much information on. Tell us a bit about this HAF. What does this fund do? Tell us.
Absolutely. So the Homeowner Assistance Fund, Washington HAF, is a new program that opened in July. And its purpose is to help homeowners who've had some sort of financial difficulty because of the pandemic meet their financial obligations. So maybe they're behind on a mortgage, or they need help paying property taxes, homeownership association fees, or insurance.
Wow. I mean, this is really a special fund here. We've heard a lot about different rental assistance funds, and I kept hearing like overarching, with homeowners saying, well, where's our money? Where's our support? Tell us a bit about how already since July it's been able to help homeowners.
You're so right. Homeowners have really faced a lot of difficulty because of the pandemic. And so we have about $120 million that's earmarked to help folks who had some sort of pandemic-related financial hardship. And at this point, we've been able to get funds out to over 125 families, and we have a little over $3.5 million already obligated in the pipeline to go out to help folks save their homes.
Wow, this is important. What does it look like in terms of a homeowner who needs this? Are there certain requirements they have to follow? Is it an easy process? We know also, too, sometimes it gets a little bureaucratic when we're talking about some of these COVID funds that we've been seeing coming through that were supposed to be relief funds. And people are like, man, I'm having a headache just to get to the relief. So tell us a bit about the process.
Those are all good points. This is a really easy program to access. If you're a homeowner and you think you need help, all you have to do is call the Washington State Homeownership Resource Center hotline, 1-877-894-4663, and they'll connect you to an advocate who can give you free, confidential support for any part of the homeownership-related experience.
Well, in that commercial that we played earlier, too, it was kind of great to hear from a homeowner's perspective. Like, man, all I had to do was make this call. I got connected with somebody who was going to help me through the process. How does that work for them? Does that same kind of, homeowner assistance fund mentor kind of stay with them?
Absolutely. So the way it works is you're going to call the hotline. You're going to chat with an advocate who's going to get the broad outlines of your situation. And from there, they're going to connect you to a housing counselor. That housing counselor is going to be your primary point of contact throughout the rest of the program. They can advocate for you. They can help you find solutions, come up with a plan to help with your problems. And then their primary job is to make sure that you have the most positive outcome for your situation. They can advocate for you on your behalf on your servicer, make sure that all your loss mitigation options have been fulfilled. And, there's a lot of ways to prevent foreclosure. Not all of them require financial assistance grants, and housing counselors are going to be your point of contact and most valuable resource when it comes to making sure that your rights are protected and you're getting everything you're entitled to.
So, I think a lot of homeowners may ask questions about, do I have to dip into equity in my home? Do I have to do something that's going to mean that maybe this is, now, if I do something that doesn't, meet a deadline, then my home goes to, Washington HAF. Like, tell us a bit about that. Is this all grant funding? They don't have to pay it back?
And it's totally safe. You'll never have to pay money to apply for Washington HAF. Working with the counselor will always be free. And if you qualify for financial assistance, these are grants, not loans. So there's no obligation to pay them back.
Wow. I mean, Emily, this is so needed right now for our folks out here. Tell us a bit about this fund. You said $120 million has been earmarked for this. I mean, once the fund is depleted, is there work to try to figure out how to keep this going? So tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. There's a ton of policy work going on in the background because foreclosure and homeownership in marginalized communities is a huge issue in Washington State. The commission's really committed to making sure that we're one of the organizations doing the work to help, equal the playing field, get rid of some of those disparities. And we feel like Washington HAF is a great opportunity to help folks who already have a home keep that equity in their home. It's so important. And so this program does three things. The first thing it does is it provides funding for the hotline. So anyone in Washington State, regardless of your income, if you're a homeowner, you can call them, get free, confidential, safe advice. Then it provides support for our statewide network of HUD-certified housing counselors and civil legal aid attorneys. They're going to be your point of contact, your advocate, help you come up with that plan and put it into action. And then The third thing it does is creates a fund that provides financial assistance grants of up to $60,000 for qualified homeowners.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Emily, this is amazing. And honestly, I think over time, we've seen great funds like this kind of come and go. And I think that that's where my mind goes is, oh my goodness, this is so needed, but it's beyond COVID. We understand that COVID impacts on the financial hardship of so many families is real. We do understand that, but we also understand life, life hardships. And when you think about maybe a single earner in a household, right, as a homeowner, if they lose that income, right, like what are the safeguards for them? So this is something that I think actually has more longevity beyond COVID, right?
Absolutely. We're hoping that this fund, we're trying to make sure that it gets to folks who really need it. We're not looking to spend the dollars tomorrow.
Yeah.
We want to be thoughtful about it, and we want to make sure that people who maybe haven't had access to other kinds of assistance, who maybe have had difficulty, getting into the traditional banking system, we want to make sure that they have access to this program equally too, because like you said, homeownership is a huge issue in Washington state, and it's a huge issue to make sure that everyone has access to it. And so we know that we can't fix the problem tomorrow, but we can use the tools we have today to start making a difference.
Well, I got to tell you, as a newer homeowner myself, it's coming upon a year at the end of this year for me. And thank you in home ownership. But that's one of those things for me where I'm like, oh my God, now I got a mortgage. I got to be serious. I got to make sure I got my income right. I got this right. I can't have a dip in my income. I got, right. So in my mind, there's all of these things that I'm considering as a homeowner. It sounds like Washington Half is really taking those things into consideration with this fund.
Absolutely. And regardless of where you are in the homeownership process, maybe you're looking to buy a home, maybe you're already unfortunately facing some sort of difficulty like delinquency or foreclosure, regardless of your circumstances, calling the hotline can get you connected to an advocate who can help you. And housing counselors are here for any homeowner in Washington state, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how much money you're making, regardless of how much money your house costs. You can go to them and you can get free and confidential support.
Man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Emily, look right there before we let you go. Make sure folks know how to access Washington Half.
If you're a homeowner who thinks that you need assistance, the first thing you should do today is to call the Washington State Homeownership Assistance Hotline at 1-877-894-4663 or find us online at washingtonhaf.org.
Oh my goodness. Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Great information.